so what we're doing is we're making a skid for this economy conveyor. The wood has already been cut when the aluminum extrusion already got cut. In theory, we should have done this before it's all been wrapped and all this stuff, but this is just a video of describing the process and how to do this. So what you're gonna do, the drawing's prepared when the drawing is prepared when the conveyor is completed, when the package is released, and then when you cut the extrusion, the aluminum extrusion, the wood should be cut, and then at that point, you can do some of the machining on this and get some sections ready. But before you start to get it fully assembled, it's best to just put it on the skid, and then it's not going to get bumped or beaten around. Now you got to watch with these nails that you set the depth right, because they'll stick right through and you could cut yourself. So now what we're just going to do is work our way. So that depth, and this is the depth setting right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to work our way in like a pattern, every fist width going up, and we're just kind of, it doesn't have to be precision. And I'm just holding this with my hands to try to center it. So now what we're gonna do, if you ever have any ones that have the nails, the part sticking out, it's best to put that on the inside. Okay, put the heads on the outside. We're gonna line our boards up like this, and we're gonna start over here. So on the drawing, 21, 75, 129, and at the end. So we're just gonna, with the tape measure, and you can lay out all your boards at once. So we'll go 21, and then the board's on this side of it, 75, 129, and 150. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our crossers, because we have a 21-inch spacing in between. Let's say 12 inches to the center on either side. Okay. This would be the center of the 2x4s, right here. And then the center's right here. Okay. Again, we're not making anything super critical. We're just making a skid. So we're gonna put this down. We want it to try to get it somewhat visibly square. You've got to be careful, because if you're not setting your depth right, you're going to end up getting poked and cut and all this stuff, so you're going to end up hurting yourself. So just double checking this. So I'm going to grab this one. Okay, this is going to be around 21. Nothing super critical here. 21, okay. Gonna lay our other boards in. And this is why we put the mark on it, which way the X is. So these are going right where the legs are gonna go. Okay. And again, in this scenario, it could be half inch out. It's not going to change anything. Okay, so that's pretty well it. What we're going to do is tack our end boards down. Okay. Okay, and if you don't have a pretty good eye, this is where you're going to check to make sure it's within whatever 2 inches a square. But so what I'm going to do, again, nothing critical, but I can tell it's, so we're 163. 163, I wish you could see that. So But it could be within a couple inches, but as long as you're not 6 inches out. Putting like 5 nails in here. We have this skid. Before we put the conveyor up there, we just put the skates underneath it. And now what we're gonna do, just line it up. So you can see the reason why these are here is so nothing can bump this front edge. But these ones are matching where the leg position goes. So it's important that you know where those are. Now, we're gonna grab our wedge anchors here. No, sorry, not wedge anchors, wooden legs, and we're gonna leg it down. So you want to make sure you have a flat washer there, and we don't need to do two, just one's fine. I'm going to show you this. This is going to be the last step. So with these swiveling foot pads, you have to watch because those can, if you angle this too far, this will actually pop out. If this gets like a big lift up load on it, it'll actually pop out. So what we're going to do for a conveyor this length is we're going to use these angle protectors, and you know where the leg is, I'm going to say we'll start here. I'll show you this one and then we'll kind of work our way out. But what we're going to do, get your you want to make sure you go over the conveyor and not over this rail, because this rail, the way this clip is designed, it can actually slide down there. So where this rail, there's actually brackets that prevent it from sliding anymore. I'm gonna do this, and this is at the very end, okay? And these are cut like 14 inches long here. This is poly banding. And again, there's a video on this. Okay. There you go. So this is how the conveyor is going to end up being done. Okay, so this is all done here. It needs a packing slip and whatever, but you can see what it probably took around 30 minutes to make this skid and get it all strapped down. I'd recommend obviously watching the video on this banding machine, because there's a certain operation of the best way to do this, because you got to get the hang of it. These corner pieces and the 2x4s all get cut in the back. The nail gun, do not use that nail gun unless you've been trained, because someone's going to end up firing a nail somewhere or hurting themselves. And now, in theory, with this conveyor being tested, it should be on a skid bolt with the legs in it. It doesn't need the banding on it or the bubble wrap. But now what will happen is we can move it around the shop, we can test it, it's not gonna get bumped or damaged, and so essentially once you get this conveyor with the legs on it, that's when you put it on this skid, you make the skid, and you leg it down, and then from there we can be moving it around the shop easier.